after sleeping a little bit and thinking about this Mavericks game last night, this win against the Jazz, they win 110-102. They're 2-1 on the season. It's nice to win ugly games. It is the mark of a good team to win ugly games, right? Even though the Jazz are not a good basketball team at all. I haven't felt necessarily impressed by the Mavericks at any point in time this season, really. Still waiting to feel impressed by this team. They look good in the second half against the Spurs. That was fine. But that's really it. Like I would say they played like a really good basketball game in the second half against the Spurs. Like it was clicking, and they looked really good. That's pretty much it. Like I think I've seen 2 good quarters of basketball from this team. And we're just kind of waiting for it all to come together. Last night was, sort of similar to what we've seen to start the season. Slow starts out the gate offensively for the Mavericks. Can't hit threes. They were in the teens shooting percentage from 3 to start this game. And it was just, the offense just looks rough. And they're just struggling to see shots go down. That's really it right now. They need like a 3-point shooting barrage game that I think will open up a lot of things for them. Klay's been great. 4 of 11 from 3 last night, 18 points. He's first 3 games. I saw a stat today. He's made more threes. This was actually kind of unbelievable. He's made more threes in his first 3 games with a new team than anybody else has with a new team in NBA history. I know the way I just said that was unbelievably stupid. Like, there's no way you understand what I'm saying. His 15 3-pointers are the most in the first 3 games of the franchise in NBA history. So that's a little bit surprising to me that that's a number. But, hey, great. It's working out incredibly well, right? He's averaging 19 points per game, 5 made threes per game, 45% from 3 over that time. Exactly what we thought we would see. Anybody with a brain, anybody with a functioning brain, this is what we expected to see from Klay Thompson. Luka, I'll say this real quickly here. Yeah, he didn't have a good shooting game last night. I thought he did other things well. I thought he was tilted. The refs were getting to him a little bit last night, and he was, tilted. And it wasn't how it was days of old where he would quit plays and be yelling at the refs. He doesn't really do that much anymore, and I give him props for that. Good work, Luka, on that front. But it is the I'm going to foul bait here for the next 5 minutes in an effort to prove to you that I'm being fouled. That completely throws the offense for a loop. And we did see that at times last night for Luka. But 5 of 22, 1 of 9 from 3. Nick told me on Lockdown it was his worst shooting performance ever in his career. And I'm monitoring some things here for Luka. I'm not concerned or anything with Luka's play. Let's not forget he missed the preseason. So this is basically Luka's preseason. Starting to get, his feet under him and get ready to go. There's a difference between being in shape, which I do think Luka's in shape right now, and being in game shape. I can play for 33 minutes with a high usage rate, and I'm ready for that. There's a big difference. Did you see one of the Mavs reporters said Luka was laboring after the game? Luka labors every day, so I'm not too worried about that. But here's one thing I'm monitoring. So far this season, Luka has barely gotten to the rim at all, it feels like. Really didn't get to the rim at all in this game. Settled for a lot of threes. He took 9 threes. 9 of his 22 shots were threes. Took 9 threes. Took a lot of contested mid-range jumpers in this game, which we've seen all throughout the course of the season for him so far. When they drop, it's good. Second half against the Spurs, his shot was dropping. Great. Suns game, shot was dropping. Great. He dropped 40 points. Last night his shot wasn't dropping, and I wish that he would just get to the rim in nights like last night, but he just hasn't done that this year. I'm not going to worry about it too much yet. I'll give it a couple more weeks, but I'm just monitoring that. I'm monitoring Luka's either inability or unwillingness to get downhill and get to the rim to start this season. And I think tonight, assuming Luka does play, the Mavericks play tonight, second night of a back-to-back against the Timberwolves. I think tonight would be a game where it's like, I need to force the issue. I'm getting downhill, and I'm putting pressure on the defense. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Because let's just be real. The Mavericks so far this season have played the Spurs, who aren't that great of a team. Opening night's always weird. The Suns in just a strange game where Opening tip, the Suns outplayed the Mavericks through and through. But opening tip, it just felt like the Mavs were like half-assing that game in a lot of ways. Like, I don't know. The vibes felt very strange. It did kind of feel like a preseason game at times. And then they played the Jazz, who just aren't going to be a very good basketball team. So we'll see. Just something I'm monitoring. I'm really looking to see if Luka starts getting downhill more. And I'm starting to worry about our lob game. If we don't have it, we are relying on threes, and that's not a great recipe for success. Well, a big reason I feel like the lob game is gone a little bit is Luka's just not attacking the rim when he's getting downhill off these screens. Teams are just playing the lob. Luka needs to attack the rim and force the issue a little bit. Yeah, it is a long season, so I'm not too worried about it. But I thought the Mavs defensively were fantastic last night. P.J. Washington was fantastic last night, doing everything that you expected him to do defensively. Derek Lively was incredible last night. Like I said, I'm going to make a video about Derek Lively later today because I think he's had a tremendous start to the season, really outside of the Suns game, but that's neither here nor there. But Derek Lively looks the part. The interior defense for the Mavs has looked really, really solid. Again, outside of a weird, fucky-ass game against the Suns where there was a trillion whistles. But 28% from three, that was something we monitored last year for this Mavericks team. Their ability to win games whenever they were not hitting threes, something that in the Luka era they were never really capable of doing until last year. Another win last night, despite shooting under 30% from three. They rebounded well. Spencer Dinwiddie off the bench was an immediate impact, and he's played better than any of the other guards that they've been trying out so far. So interested to see what Spencer Dinwiddie's minutes look like moving forward. Has he kind of earned a spot? Time will tell. Kid was definitely experimenting with the rotation last night. Omax got some early minutes. That was shocking. Jaden Hardy played 5 minutes. So back to the doghouse. Jaden Hardy goes. We only saw 15 minutes for Najee Marshall, which I thought was interesting because I thought Najee Marshall played a really, really solid game last night as well. So I don't know. It's good. Early season is weird. These coaches, they tinker with the rotation so much. You're going to see that, I would assume, for the next few weeks from Kid as well, where you're going to think to yourself, why did this guy play 8 minutes? Why did this guy play 13 minutes? Why did this guy play 26 minutes? Like, what the fuck's going on? It's experimenting. At some point, they need to settle in on a rotation. But for the time being, it's experimenting. So, Klay Thompson doing his thing. Kyrie Irving, I thought, was good last night when he was aggressive. Need him to be more assertive and aggressive. You know, that's kind of what we've been saying about Kyrie forever. But when he was aggressive last night, he was very good, especially leading that second unit. I don't think Luka is injured. I really don't. You know, maybe that calf thing was a little bit more, a pain in the ass than we're giving it credit for, and he's just like, really working his way back into being ready to go. But we'll see. We're talking like he's been horrible. I mean, this was really it. The 5 of 22 shooting was bad, but outside of that, I thought he did fine last night. He looked good against the Suns. Second half against the Spurs, he was really good. But this is supposed to be the MVP season. Let's pick it up. For Utah, the Taylor Hendricks injury obviously is horrible. Beyond that, while we're talking about Taylor Hendricks, that rookie draft class, Bryce Sensabaugh, don't know if he's an NBA player really. Keontae George is it's an alarming start to the season for Keontae George, to say the least. And this is a player that I started to get very high on last year, but man, he's not an efficient basketball player. He makes some head-scratching decisions, and in year 2, we're hoping to see, that's fine for a rookie guard, right? You kind of expect that out of a rookie guard, but year 2, you start to work some of that stuff out of your game, and we've really yet to see that from Keontae George. Long season ahead. Just something to monitor moving forward. They did a great job on Larry Marketing last night. Larry was 4 of 15 from the field, 17 points. So a great job on him. I thought they did a good job on Walker Kessler as well, who's had a really good start to the season. This Jazz team, they're pretty big. This Jazz team is pretty big, and they can beat you up on the glass if you let them. And I thought the Mavericks did a good job. They're bigs, they're interior guys. P.J. Washington did a really good job last night. So it's nice to win ugly. Early in the season, while you're working stuff out, it's good to get wins like this. So we move. Didn't the Cowboys have a Bryce Sensabaugh years ago?